We are entering into another session. We have already seen in the second chapter what is meant by principles, what are the nature of principles, and all those things. In this chapter, we have to learn about principles propounded by two persons. One is Henry Fayol and another one is F.W. Taylor. From among that, we are going to see which are the principles found by Henry Fayol. So, in this session, we will be discussing about the principles propounded by Henry Fayol. So, first of all, we have to understand who was Henry Fayol. Henry Fayol was a French management theorist. He was a person from France, and he started his life as a mining engineer, and later he became the managing director of the company which he started working with. And based on his experience as a worker, from worker to managing director, he has written a book called Administration Industriale et Generale in 1917, and that book was translated to English in 1949. And it is in this book he has put forward the principles which we say as 14 principles of management. It is basically focused on, or those are principles which are basically of help for managers to perform effective management. Because of that, Henry Fayol, because of that, the reason that he has put forward the principles for managers to handle the situations, he is called as father of general management. So, this is Henry Fayol, and he has put forward 14 principles of management, and that is what we are going to discuss in this session. The first principle these are the 14 principles of management: division of work, authority and responsibility, discipline, unity of command, unity of direction, subordination of individual interest to general interest, remuneration of personnel, centralization and decentralization, scalar chain, order, equity, stability of tenure, initiative, esprit de corps. So, these are the 14 principles, and we are going to discuss each principle in detail. First principle he is saying is about division of work. According to this principle, Henry Fayol is saying that each work is to be divided into smaller tasks. Each work is to be divided into smaller tasks, and it must be handed over to specialists or trained employees. So, the total work is to be divided into manageable portions, and it is to be handed over to specialists or trained employee. And by doing this, he is saying that we can achieve effective and efficient output. We can get a better output at lower cost, and at time we will be able to complete as the specialist is handling. And this principle basically aims or basically look forward to gain specialization in the work. So, division of work is dividing the work into smaller tasks and assigning it to specialists so as to attain specialization. So, that is the first principle of management put forward by Henry Fayol: division of work, total work divided into smaller portions and handed over to persons who are familiar with the work. Second principle is authority and responsibility. Authority and responsibility. What is authority? Authority is the right to give orders and exact obedience of his position. When a person is getting the right to give orders to the persons, to the subordinates under him, and he is able to exact obedience because of his position, that is called authority. And what is responsibility? It is the obligation of the subordinate to perform assigned task or task assigned by the superior. So, authority is the right of a superior to give orders and exact obedience. Responsibility is the obligation of subordinate to perform the assigned task given by the superior. And in this principle, what Henry Fayol is saying, that there must be authority and responsibility within an organization, or there is responsibility and authority within an organization. Every authority must have responsibility for the work which is being assigned. And when a responsibility is being given, enough authority must be given in order to perform that work. So both go hand in hand. When authority is given, responsibility is there for the person to perform that work. When responsibility is given, enough authority must be backed so as to do the work in a better manner. So that is second principle. There must be balance between authority and responsibility, or we call it parity of authority and responsibility. Parity of authority and responsibility means balance must be there between authority and responsibility. Next principle is principle of discipline. Discipline. What is discipline? Discipline is obedience to organizational rule and employment agreement regarding an organization. To follow the rules which is given by the organization, to follow the employment agreement. That is called discipline in a business organization. In an organization, obedience to organizational rule. And if you want to have discipline being practiced better in an organization, we say that three things are required. Good superiors must be there at each levels. There must be superiors who know the work, who can understand employee, who is following up. There must be good superiors. Clear and fair agreements. Rules must be very clear. It must not be biased and everything. Clear and fair agreements. Agreements must be acceptable. Agreements must be sensible. Agreements must be aimed at attaining a particular objective. So clear and fair agreements must be there. Third one is judicious application of penalties. If a person is not following organizational rule, there must be penalties, there must be punishments. And simply not giving punishment must be given in the manner so as to bring the person to the right track. That is what is called judicious application of penalties. So obedience to organizational rule is expected in principle of discipline, and there must be good superiors, there must be clear and fair agreements, and there must be judicious application of penalties. So that is the third principle. Now coming on to the fourth principle, it is unity of command. What is unity of command? Unity of command says that there must be one boss for every individual employee. There must be a boss for every individual employee. And an employee is to take orders from only one superior at a time. An employee must take orders from only one superior at a time. Because if he is taking orders from two different superiors at the same time, he will be in a confusion which one to follow. So that can create a problems, that can create chaos within the organization. That is why it is said that dual subordination can be avoided. Dual subordination can be avoided. If a person is taking orders from only one superior at a time, dual subordination can be avoided. And for making sure unity of command, there must be coordination with the different departments. That means only a superior is giving order to an employee at a time. That is also to be taken care. A coordination is required. Not two managers from two different departments is giving order to same employee at a time. That can create trouble, or that can result in dual subordination. In order to avoid that, there must be coordination. But this principle is saying that employee must not take orders from many superiors, or employee is to take orders from only one superior at a time. That is unity of command. Coming on to next principle, that is a principle of unity of direction. In principle of unity of direction, it is said that units of an organization must move towards same objective through coordinated efforts. There must be a unity, or there must be a common understanding regarding the objectives of the organization, and all the units is to move towards that organizational objective together. And here the principle is saying that each group of activities having same objective must have one head and one plan. Of the same organization, there can be different activities, but activities which are of same nature must have one head and one plan. As according to textbook, they are saying about a business running or business having automobile business, doing automobile business, which is selling cars and selling motorbikes. Both have different aspects. The need or the category of people who are coming to purchase car and scooters are different. It is always better to have two different departments for four-wheelers and two-wheelers, because the way of dealing, the type of customers, everything differs. That is why they are saying that each group of activities having same objective must have one head and one plan. So four-wheeler section can be under a particular manager and they can have a common plan, and two-wheelers section can have a different plan, even though both are made by the same company. But organization objective, they are moving together. Two-wheelers, maximum sale of two-wheelers, four-wheelers, maximum sale of four-wheelers. So each group of activities having same objective must have one head and one plan, and it ensures unity of action. That means towards the organization objective, everything will be focused on, and there will be coordination, there will be connection with every department, every sections and all. So that is the principle of direction. We have seen unity of direction, unity of command, discipline, authority and responsibility, and division of work. 5 principles we have discussed.